What's going on, everyone? Back here again with another video on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. This video I want to talk about something that's been very relevant, and I think that a lot of people are going through at this time. For what we typically go through individually is, more often than not, a reflection of what's happening collectively as a society. Certain people are at certain levels in their journey, so one person may have experienced this in the past or are experiencing it at a more intense level, but as a collective, we're all waking up together. We're all becoming more aware of who we are and what's going on together. So therefore, what we're experiencing on an individual level is oftentimes just a microcosm for the macrocosm that's happening as a society. So basically, I want to talk about, very obviously, that the veil is thinning. That's going to be the title of this video. The veil is thinning. Okay, and what do I mean by the veil? Okay, this is an important concept. So what we see in this reality, okay, what we perceive to be happening around us with our five senses, the way we see, the way we feel, the way we smell, the way we taste, forgetting the other one, the way we, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. Okay, so those are the five senses basically. What we do with those five senses is we perceive the world around us. So, here in my basement, there's a level of reality that I'm perceiving around me. However, we have to understand as spiritual beings that there is more than what meets the eye. What I'm seeing right here around my basement is a level of my own perception that I'm perceiving. There may be things happening around me. There may be things happening out of my awareness that are very, very real, but I can't perceive them. That's why they call, in spiritual terms, this reality an illusion, because what we see with our senses, what we perceive to be happening, is not actually what is going on. Maybe from a human standpoint, the aspects of what we see are happening in reality, but far beyond what we see is happening as well. Okay, so that's why when I refer to the veil, that's what I mean. What we perceive and what is actually going on in the world around us. So the veil is thinning. There's no question about that, really. And if you've been in the spiritual community for some time, you've heard that phrase happen before. But right now, I feel like for whatever reason, we're walking through a very unique phase where this thinning of the veil is happening at this time for very specific reasons. Reasons that we may not necessarily know. But for me personally, I could feel how thin this veil is in terms of what's going on in the lower realms, okay? So, as I get into this video, I can already sense that it's being a very esoteric kind of video. So if you're not really into this kind of stuff, I by no means blame you for not wanting to watch this, but if you are still with me, I encourage you to keep an open mind. And for those of you who are part of the spiritual path for a while now, you may resonate with this content. So part of this veil, on this side of the this is the veil, right? On this side of the veil is what we perceive with our 3D senses, if you will. On this side of the veil, we have to understand that there's multiple different realms that are going on. So we're gonna do it like this. Say we're here. They call it the 3D matrix, the 3D density. That's where we're at. We're moving as a society, as a collective, as a universe, as an Earth plane, rather, as the Earth. We're moving into the 5D plane of consciousness. We're in 3D. We're going to 5D, okay? That veil between where we're at and where we're trying to go is most certainly thinning, but the veil underneath 3D and everything that's below 3D is also coming up as well, and everything in between, okay? So basically, the point I want to make in this video is that because that veil is thinning between what we perceive in our reality and what's actually going on, we're gaining access to higher levels of information, higher levels of intuition, higher levels of sensory perception, higher levels of creative ideas, higher levels of connection to benevolent beings that we may not have otherwise connected to in our lives. Notice that your dreams have your dreams been kind of spiritual in nature, esoteric? Are you meeting certain figures in your dreams that could be representations of certain guides or angels or benevolent forces in your life that you haven't had the chance to access in your conscious memory, but you know deep down that you have a connection to these beings and that these beings have always been with you, maybe outside of this lifetime as well? Yes, I know this is a very esoteric term and an esoteric concept, but because the veil is thinning, whether you want to or not, you're connecting with this information, and that's why you are here. Okay, so that's one of the benevolent and positive aspects of this veil thing. We're connecting to sources of information, sources of guidance, sources of inspiration that we can sense is from a more higher vibration, a more higher energetic realm. But at the same time, and I know I've taken about 6 minutes to introduce this concept, at the same time, and what's been happening for me is that the veil is thinning, so we're gaining access to the lower realms as well. Okay? Now, for me personally, the past couple days now, I've noticed and this is, I think this has been onset by this last full moon that we've had on Monday. This full moon eclipse season that we're in, the first few days of the eclipse is the reason why this feels thin. So for me, what's happening, what I'm noticing because the veil is thin in my own experience, is that I'm noticing a lot of ego talk, a lot of self-attack, a lot of self-hatred, a lot of that pessimist, critic, judgmental self coming to the surface. Okay, I remember I went on a walk, I guess it was 2 days ago now. I decided to go for a walk, and on that walk, and because I went on that walk, I got just absolutely bombarded with self-hate. You know that little voice in your mind that lets you know that you're a piece of shit, that you're a pussy, that you suck, that you're not doing the right thing, that you should be doing this thing instead of that thing, that because you're doing this thing, you're not going to get that thing, but because you're doing this thing, it doesn't mean you're worthy of XYZ. That voice was turned up to 11 on my walk. Let me tell you, as soon as I went on my walk, like the first couple steps, I was like, I could hear the voices like, you know you're not supposed to be doing this, right? You know you should be helping your dad in the garage, help move some things, help move your winter tires. That's your reason for getting fresh air, not going for this stupid walk. Why does somebody like you need to go for a walk to put yourself in state to help your father? Like, what's wrong with you? Why do you do this? Why aren't you good enough? This is why your father doesn't love you as much. This is why he hates that you're sensitive, because you need to go for a walk. This kind of chatter was coming to the surface, and it was very, very, very difficult to deal with, let me tell you. I have some self-awareness where I know that these voices coming to the surface of my mind, they're not actually me. They're just a mechanism of my ego coming to kind of pass through energetically. It's all energy, right? So even thoughts, they're just buried forms of energy that have been stuffed down and suppressed your whole life. The shadow aspects of who you are, the aspects of you that is running you, but you're not aware of. That was coming to the surface. And although it's a beautiful thing, because it's coming to the surface, it means it's gone out of your awareness into your awareness. And the more that you can separate and become aware of those thoughts, the more you can kind of neutralize that frequency and let it go. But even though I know all this, it's still pretty disheartening when a voice inside your mind is telling you all these very disheartening and negative judgments about yourself. It's hard not to identify with that and buy into it to some degree. So I'd be lying if I said I didn't attach to those thoughts a little bit. I didn't judge those thoughts. I did, and I didn't kind of act on those thoughts, if you will. And ever since that walk a couple days ago, the same things have been happening. I'll do certain things, I won't do certain things, as a result, my ego will come up and try to convince me or tell me that I'm wrong for doing or not doing a certain thing, and upon doing wrong, that self-attack will come in. So this video, and I know I've taken a while to kind of get to the point. This is the point. The veil is thinning, so just know it's not all love and light when the veil thins, okay? And I know that you may be experiencing that. As the veil thins, we get access to the shadow parts of ourselves that we've long repressed for so long. And if you're somebody who works on yourself and has asked for those shadow aspects to come to the surface for you to be aware of, oh honey, your wish is going to be granted, because it's here. The veil is thin. This is a very powerful opportunity to experience this. And as difficult as this is, it is such a great chance to gain the data and the information of those lower realms coming to the surface to offer what it is that you've been holding on to and storing so long. Just because you've done a great job at stuffing all that down, stuffing all that self-hatred down, stuffing all that repressed emotion down, doesn't mean it's still running you. It is still running you. Doesn't mean it isn't running you. It is running you more than you can imagine. You wonder why your life is at a certain vibration. You wonder why you're at a certain level of happiness. You wonder why no matter what you think, do, feel, perceive, or attain, you still don't feel good enough inside. It's because you've done such a good job of pressing those emotions. They're outside of your awareness, but they're still running the shit out of your life. Now is the time to become aware of that. Now is the time that they're coming to the surface. So even though these judgments are so difficult to apprehend and be aware of, just know that they're bringing very valuable pieces of data. So what I encourage you to do is to honor what comes up, honor the difficult conversations that your mind is and your ego is giving to you. Listen to it, write it down, journal it, get it on paper, meditate on it even. Just be aware of it. Don't give it any judgment. It's so tempting. It's so tempting. Probably the most tempting thing we can do is to fight back our ego and judge it and criticize it and even buy into what it's saying. But the more you can just let it be, let that rampant mind just blast you with all its self-attack. Imagine you have somebody who's very antagonistic in your life and you just don't respond to them. You don't respond to them. You let them try to push your buttons. You let them try to piss you off. You let them try to make you mad. You let them try to make you cry. But deep down that they're doing that because they're trying to get a reaction out of you so they can feed their own energy. They get off. Certain people get off on this toxic layer of getting you to react. That is your ego. Your ego has run you for so long that as you start to become aware and become more open to observing it rather than attaching, the ego starts to get frustrated because the less energy that you can give it, the more it starts to atrophy, the more it starts to die off. And a good sign that it's doing that is these absolutely blasting effects of its energy to try to really throw you off, really try to piss you off, really try to make you mad. And it's your job to stay connected in the moment. So as your ego's dying off and as it's trying to throw its last ditch efforts at you to kind of feed energy back into it, you just become aware of it. Okay? It's the story of the two wolves. Okay, there's a very well-known fable about two wolves. If you read any kind of spiritual books or self-development books, you'll have heard this story. But there's two wolves. Okay, there's the wolf of kindness, compassion, love, generosity, peace, guidance, grace, divinity, whatever you want to call it, in your life. Okay, there's also the wolf of greed, anger, ego, attachment, hatred, fear, desire, malevolence, whatever, you name it, right? So we have a good wolf and the bad wolf. And I guess one of these teachers or one of these sages was kind of telling this story. We have the good wolf and bad wolf inside of us. And this younger student, this younger kid even, it could be, asks the leader or the grandfather or whatever who's telling the story, says, well, grandpa or teacher, what wolf will come on top? Like, how do we know which wolf is running us? Which wolf is the more predominant in your life? And the teacher says, the one you feed, the wolf you feed. Okay, so once again, we've had this predominant active wolf in our life, the wolf that is, again, run on fear, run on anger, run on hatred, run on the shadow aspects of who we are. And as we've naturally become more aware, even if this is the first time you're hearing information like this, or the first couple times you're hearing information like this, just know that you've already done the work to kind of come out of that a bit. That's why you're watching this video, especially if you're in this video this long. It's because you resonate with this content. It's because now you're starting to take away and started to observe the aspects of yourself that have fed that darker wolf for so long. And because you're doing that, that wolf is starting to get hungry. It's starting to get atrophied. It's starting to die off a little bit. And it needs to feed itself in order to survive. So it's going to do everything it can to hunt on your own resources, your own mind, to try to bring it what it needs in the moment. So that's why you're getting all these negative self-talk. That's why you're getting all these absolutely self-critical judgments that don't serve you. That wolf is trying to stay alive. And this good wolf, this wolf of compassion, of integrity, of presence, It's starting to get the resources and nutrients that bad wolf was taking for so long. So just be aware of that, okay? Just be aware of that. That's what's so important right now. That's why the veil is thinning. That's what you might be experiencing. So the video is for anybody who is going through a difficult time or has gone through a difficult time, and especially now feels like the intensity of those difficult times are coming to the surface. Know that it's because the veil is so thin. Your shadow aspects of yourself, those shadow underworld realms, those demons, those dragons, those dark entities that have been hidden under your awareness for so long are coming to the surface for you to process, be aware of, and release. Okay? Just know that everything that happens is going to pass. This too shall pass. This too will not stay. This too will leave in space of more benevolent, higher, connected forces. And I know you've had experiences in your life where you felt so connected, so tapped in, so full of joy. Know that that is an aspect of you, that is an aspect that you're attracting in this moment. And it's because you're going through these more difficult times that you're able to make room and space for these higher frequencies to come in. So God bless you so much for watching this video. Like, if you're able to watch a video like this, I'm telling you, it means that nothing but goodness and light is going to eventually make its way into your life. And honor yourself right now. Reward yourself. If this is your big accomplishment for the day, know that it's very, very valuable, and that you've done well by being able to sit through a video like this and take in the expressions and the vibes and the transmissions that I'm able to give to you. So God bless. Once again, the veil is so thin, and the point of view of this video is that thin veil is bringing up a lot of the stuff to the surface that has otherwise been suppressed for a while. And at the same time, remember that there's a veil above this 3D reality that's connecting you to benevolent forces that are guiding you through this and guiding you to experience more joy as you go through this process as well. So God bless. So thankful to be talking to you. Hope you have a great rest of your day, weekend, week, whatever it is. And I am so excited to continue this conversation going forward, and to continue to connect with people like you, high vibrational beings that are moving into the greatest expression of who they are and are therefore attracting that which it is that they are truly aligned with and deserve in their life. So God bless. Talk to you soon. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. See ya.